So this is going to be a different kind of video, as you can probably tell by the title. It's going to be specifically about me testing out the Runescape tutorial. Basically, as you don't know, the tutorial technically is just Tutorial Island, but then afterwards there's something called, I think, the path system, which you just sort of choose certain books and go through a path. But yeah, I haven't seen many actually YouTube videos that are going over the path system as from a new account. I have seen several with the actual Tutorial Island though. But the main goal of this is to just kind of go through Tutorial Islands. Probably not going to be, let's see. With Tutorial Island, I'm probably not going to be showing too much gameplay because there's already gameplay of that already on RuneScape or on YouTube, and I'm just focusing mostly actually on the system that gets you out of the Tutorial Island, for example, stuff that's happening in Birthright, which I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, but the main goal of this series is to kind of provide some feedback for Jagex and just kind of document the new player experience a little bit, and hopefully kind of allow Jagex to kind of make a better version of this game. And I do believe that all good tutorials need to be revised every now and then. There needs to be some sort of constant revision or like constant re-improvement. But yeah, so that's it for that. We've already pre-customized. Well, before I start recording, I just customized with the legs and I think the torso stuff I wanted, and we're doing obviously the normal game mode. So let's click done. And now we need a character name, so of course I'm just going to do Gielinor 2. And it should work. Yep. We have some random kind of randomly generated names, so let's see, let's go back. Done. Let's see, hang on, let's find it. Okay, so I figured out you have to actually click the done button once you, I think, once you put your name in. So let's see, we got this screen right here, whether it's your experience with RuneScape. I played very recently, that's actually true. This is not true, but let's just go through the tutorial and say I have never played before. So let's go ahead and click that. And now we're at Tutorial Island, so let's see. You can see here the activity tracker here. It doesn't tell you exactly what it is right now, but let's see. So use the scroll wheel to zoom the camera. Okay. Left click target for default action, talk to target. Okay, let's talk to Reginald. Welcome to the world of Gielinor. Well, you ready to continue your journey? Open that door over there. Okay, so it's just indicating us to open doors. And now let's talk to the survival expert. Let's see, Brina. Did you buy skills to survive? You have many skills. Okay, so it opens up this free-to-play kind of skill set or something like that. Skilling guide. So with woodcutting, fishing, farming, and cooking skills. So let's see, it's just indicating us to let's get started. But actually, I'm going to pause recording right now until I find something new on Tutorial Island, because I don't want to record the whole Tutorial Island, as I said, because there are already videos that are doing that on RuneScape. So yeah, we'll see you in a bit. So apparently these pop-up boxes show up to tell you what these little new interfaces are. Let's see. Hopefully the tutorial will actually teach us a little bit more about these interfaces, because the interfaces in RuneScape are really kind of difficult to navigate and stuff, and I will be including the navigation details in my feedback. But yeah, so we have a mini-map here. We can scroll in and out, and we can just left-click on a mini-map to travel to some location. So we'll do that. So yeah, we just got introduced to the quest screen, and there's really kind of, it doesn't really explain which one of these is the quest inventory. Again, this is something that with the interface I really think it needs updating or improvement. So here we have, like, see, our backpack, our skills, quests. I mean, if you hover over it, it's quite clear which one is which, but it doesn't really tell us at all. I mean, it just shows up, for example, this little window or interface, but yeah, well, I don't know, it's something I really think Jagex needs to look into, because then there wasn't any sort of like highlighted or piece here that shows you, but this is where the quest tab is, it's where skills tab, etc., backpack, and so forth. So oddly enough, we have a rock opportunity. Well, I'm sorry, it was right here, just before I clicked on the rock. And basically, if you don't know what it is, a rock opportunity is basically one of those things which you see like critical strike. Let's see if there's one over here. It looks like no rock opportunities here. But unfortunately, it doesn't really explain to you what a rock opportunity actually is, which was that sort of gold little sparkly thing kind of going on. But yeah, so obviously the mining is different now because there was the mining smithing rework about 6 years ago. Yeah, so we're just going to mine some copper and continue with the tutorial. And yeah, there's a rock opportunity. Again, it needs to be explained a bit better. Actually, it's not just the rock opportunity, it's the whole kind of mining kind of, what is it, the progress bar. Interestingly enough, there's no fatigue in the tutorial island, which is really kind of unusual. And yeah, we just got a second copper ore, so we're going to check out smithing. Okay, so fortunately there seems to be a tutorial of how to use the furnace in the smithing, not rework, but the smithing system, basically. So apparently the tutorial island doesn't actually tell you the difference between, I think, what you need a forge for. It does tell you need not an oven but a furnace to kind of smelt the bars, but it dragged us to over let's see, I can't close out, I think, but it told us to go to a furnace, and at the not furnace, but the forge, and it tells us to deposit materials at the metal bank, but it doesn't tell us what the forge is used for yet. Maybe it will tell us soon. Let's see, smith bronze dagger. Okay, let's see, smith bronze dagger. Select begin project, yeah. Okay, so heating up, it still doesn't explain the mechanics of heating up. Oh, yeah, because it's a tutorial. It's not a very, well, it's an oversight, I think. But yeah, it just tells us to smith the anvil, and we do have these sort of progress bar that's coming along. Yeah, so we're fighting the rat, and it's obviously using some sort of basic abilities. Well, several abilities that are obviously available to free-to-play, but it doesn't show us the combat bar, the action bar, so that's really kind of strange, I think. One thing I would really like to see is a tutorial using on how to use the world map. Now, obviously we don't have that right now because it just told us that we could look for banks using the bank icon on the mini-map, but it doesn't really highlight it at all. So, yeah, that's really something that needs to be done. Just a tutorial on how to use the world map, but maybe that'll come later, but I really don't think so, because if it did come later, there's no reason to put it in tutorial island, so. Okay, it's also really weird. It tells us the prayer skill, and it tells us we need to bury bones, but we don't have any way of getting bones. So again, this is sort of a problem, I think, with the tutorial. Okay, this is definitely good. You include the home teleport right after the end of the tutorial. That's how you kind of unlock places, and really helps people get around, so I like that. Well, actually, technically, that was in RuneScape 2 at least, where you had the home teleport, but that would take you to Lumbridge. So, yeah, we're just going to home teleport to Berthorpe, and probably, I think Lumbridge should be unlocked. So we just arrived in Berthorpe, and immediately we got this activity tracker in the northwest corner of our screen. And we have this pop-up saying that your activity tracker lists suggested objectives and activities. Your first objective is to speak to Turail, the Slayer Master. So let's see, there should be a way to kind of disable it and re-enable it, but if it's not clear, then I think that's something that Jagex needs to work on. So let's see, we're going to go over to Turail. Let's see what he says. Say adventurer. Come to the right place. Okay, so we talked to Turail, and apparently our path is complete. We have our discover why the Berthorpe Guard needs your help, and we got 5 extra coins. So I don't know what the rewards are for completing all the paths, but it's probably not going to be that big. So this is a bit weird. Our path actually tells us to let's see, to chop down a tree to get logs, but Turail told us to go over and get the, let's see what I totally need to distract, but Turail told us to go get some crayfish from the fishing spot, and then cook it, or maybe cook a few, I don't know exactly, but, let's see, hang on, let's try chopping the wood instead and see what happens. Oh, okay, you want us to get the wood first, okay. Let's see, so I'm going to catch some crayfish. I might need 12, so this will take a while. And look at that, we just got our first ever level on this account. We have level 2 fishing at 7 or 6 crayfish, I think. I don't really remember. Actually, I found the Nicholas Angle's offer. Well, unfortunately I didn't record it, but his offer to sort of talk to you more about fishing, it's really sort of a distraction from what we're supposed to be doing according to our tasks given by Turail, because we're trying to get ready for combat. We need to cook our crayfish and then head over to the mines to get some stuff, but then this guy just comes over and says, hey, you know, do this, and yeah. So if it's going to be some direction, I mean, try not to be kind of like too much, try to have too many distractions. Weirdly enough, it's telling us to highlight our raw crayfish, but it's not telling us to use it on the, highlight it on the fire, so, yeah, well, it's a little bit confusing, but maybe, I don't know if it's really necessary to change. And in really like 30 seconds, we got all the way up to 5 cooking, so that's crazy. Also, a really weird thing, it doesn't teach you to kind of adjust your interface at all. It doesn't tell, well, it tells you a little bit about the interfaces. Not yet about the chat for some reason. Maybe that will come up later, but again, adjusting the interfaces, again, you have to kind of figure out how to do it on your own, almost. Nor does it teach you anything about how to open up your combat action bar or rearrange them. from the tutorial it's just automatically minimized, but if you just click here, you're going to look at the abilities and say, well, what are all these? And hopefully I'll explain it later in the tutorial. I think it will, though. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, a lot of the stuff in the Birthorpe task is just repetitive from Tutorial Island. Told us to catch some crayfish, which I guess was different from the shrimp. But the mechanics were exactly the same, just catch a fish, cook it. We didn't burn it, oddly enough, but sort of redundant. And now we're getting this pop-up, which is from the furnace from Tutorial Island, so we're just going to pause everything. And then let's see, your furnace can store mine ore, smelt the bars. Yeah, we did this at Tutorial Island, so click on this again. Just start smelting bronze bars. And yeah, when something new pops up, then I'll start re-recording. Again, same gripes with the Tutorial Island system. It doesn't teach you the importance of heat and smelting, or smithing, and yeah, again, some repetitive stuff that just doesn't get explained. It seems to explain too many times how to use the smelter, or what is the forge and the anvil when you're trying to smith some more items, so I don't think that's really necessary. It would be actually nice if the game told us how to use the skill guides and just look up what exactly gets unlocked at every level, but I don't know, yeah, it's just not something that usually people would do, or I guess new players would do on their own. They would just say, oh, it's flashing, okay, well, what's it good for? But, yeah. Although, they probably just rather play the game, honestly, rather than look up what you can unlock at each level. Okay, so we just finished our smithing thing. Let's see, we have bronze helm, let's look at it. Bronze helm, bronze plate body, bronze plate legs, and a bronze dagger. So, originally we were supposed to go kill trolls, but it looks like we have a new path. We have the banking path, which is learn how to safely store items in your bank. That's reward 10 coins. This reward 3 rapid sandwiches, just to prepare for battle, venture to the domain of trolls. Doesn't tell us what our achievement paths are exactly. Let's see, select the Birthorpe path. Yeah, this needs to be explained a lot better. I mean, it's sort of hard to kind of figure out, because, let's see, following a path can break up your objectives and achievable steps and help guide you towards reaching your goals. Banking. Okay, then we have quests. Interesting, it moved over. The quests box used to be over here, but now it's over here, so let's see. So we have only one path in the banking, so we're going to do that. And as for the banking path, it didn't really tell us to do anything. We just opened up the bank, and well, actually it didn't really need to, because we could, well, should have told us that we should have deposited something. Didn't need to kind of highlight it, but yeah, it was sort of, it's probably counterintuitive, not counterintuitive, but pretty intuitive anyway. So we selected our canned food or something like that. What's the path? Yeah, we have the warrior. There's a way to clear it. Hopefully it will not clear it permanently, but we're going to try and see what it's like, because it doesn't explain the achievement paths interface very well, so that's something that needs to change, definitely. Okay, it's still here. Alright, so let's see, paths complete 6 out of 12, Birthorpe paths. Yeah, so it looks good. So I just went through a block of text from tutorials telling us how to use our abilities and what they are. I really think that it's too text heavy. Okay, there's too much text to read. It's a much better way of introducing combat to free players. I think it's just to sort of get them to use it in combat, but yeah, so we'll just go into combat and see what else it'll teach us, because it told us about thresholds and ultimates, which we really don't need to know at this point. It's just kind of like too much fluff that distracts from what we really need to know to start out with. So yeah, hopefully that'll be cleared up soon. Okay, this is really weird. They don't show, when you attack a troll chucker, for example, it won't just stick to auto attacks. It will go through the abilities, even though you can't see them on the combat bar. That's really weird, and I think it needs changing. Otherwise, though, killing the trolls is pretty straightforward. It's very much like other MMOs, and it should be kind of applicable to anybody who's coming from some other game. Still a strange explanation of evolution that we were using before, but it doesn't show up our abilities, so I don't know, just a little bit weird. Doesn't tell us where to find which abilities are like ultimates or thresholds in our ability book, unfortunately. Although, it shows up now because we have enough adrenaline, but again, it doesn't do a good job of showing that either. And the tutorial doesn't explain ability queuing at all, even though it's set by default. I like how the troll drops an offhand for you once you, once you kill it, because again, you might just go for uniform and say, okay, we'll pick it up, and find out it goes in your offhand, which is what it describes. So we're on 7 out of 26 Birthorpe paths, and I think this bow and arrow is going to be one path. So we'll probably just go through the bow and arrow thing, and then I'm not sure where we'll end this video, because there are going to be a lot of paths, and it's quite a lot. Maybe kind of a little bit overwhelming, because you don't have a lot of choice in what you want to do. I mean, you have the bow and arrow, which is do ranged, fetching arrows, troll patrol, kill more shoal checkers. Let's see. So we're just gonna click bow and arrow. Of course, one weird thing is the tutorial tells you to do one thing, and then the activity tracker tells you to do something else, or the path rather tells you to do something else. Actually, it's pretty crazy seeing this many new players killing cows, and it's like, geez, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Just killing cows, you know, there's like 10 people here. So the path system is something that I think lets you choose your own path, which is exactly what it sounds like, but I think it'd be a little bit overwhelming for players who don't know what to do. Although it does give you choices, and I think that you should either go through a situation where you have all the choices available, whether it's like, you know, wood cutting or fletching, fishing, cooking, questing, whatnot. But yeah, so yeah, that would be a good option, I think. Okay, so we're killing cows using the range skill with our we have the ranger path, and it just, again, we've learned this stuff in tutorial, and you know, there's a lot of repetitive stuff going on here. So we finished killing up our cows with range, and I think that, well, because since we got a choice of what the path was like earlier, we chose to do the ranged path against, well, let's see, we had a bank path, and we had a ranged path, and I forgot what the other paths were, but yeah, so basically I think we've completed the base tutorial of the RuneScape game. And so this will probably be the end of this video. I think I will probably make one more about the other paths and see if I can come up with some improvements that would, I think, once I get put into place, once I kind of play through everything. But yeah, so that's going to be the end of this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.